We are recording. This is the American Indian Movement. It was a movement that was founded in 1968 in Minnesota as a way against police brutality for the indigenous community in Minneapolis. And it grew to support a variety of legal issues. The movement grew and occupied Alcatraz from November 1969 to June 1971 to assist and support American indigenous land claims and courts for the island in the name of the All Nations and the Lakota. It was a movement of support that has carried on the present efforts of climate change, to pipelines, to truth and reconciliation, not only across North America, but across the globe. This top flag is one of the symbols that is carried on through from 1968. And the bottom is our Canadian diversity flag. The symbolism is so important, and it included not only flags and slogans, but also songs. And this is the late Louis Gray, who just passed away this July. He was one of the original people at Wounded Knee, and this was part of an interview. And this is just a clip of the song.
And it's a song that's raised up in times of resistance and empowerment. And I just love the song. It just brings back so many memories of everything that's happened in my life, and so I'm happy to share it here.
And we want to also make note that Mr. Louis Gray, as part of the First People, he declared, and this is his quote from the interview, "It was a powerful song for those involved in Wounded Knee, the movement. We sang it every time the moment called for it to get our spirits lifted, and we would sing the AIM song if we heard good news, and we would sing the AIM song if we heard bad news." And they took not only the songs and the symbolism, but the subversive symbolism of the flags, including the subversive use of the national flag, to get the media's attention, to keep the media's attention, and to utilize the power behind the media attention. And that was the basis of the nonviolent movements that started with the January march of 5,000 women in Washington of the 1968. They had been following that there was the 15,000 Latino high school students that walked out in California in March. Vietnam War was continuing to fail. On April 4th, Martin Luther King was shot and killed. In June, Robert Kennedy, another ally, was shot and killed. And June 19th saw over 53,000 people rallying and marching for the Poor People's Campaign in Washington, according to the Smithsonian Magazine Matthew Twombly. These and other facts were part of the backup that enlightened and emboldened and empowered not only the AIM social movement, but so many others through the years. And it follows on people and leaders like the original Tecumseh, the Shawnee chief and noted orator, and his quote, "The way and the only way to check and stop the evil is for all red men to unite in claiming a common and equal right in the land, as it was first and should be yet. For it was never divided, but belongs to all of us, each, for use of each. There's no part has a right to sell even to each other, much less to strangers, and those who want all and will not do with less," according to our own Howard Zinn textbook, History is a Weapon. These all added to begin a movement to overcome the police brutality that was in Minneapolis. 200 people gathered in July. And they were, within a month, they had changed their name from the Concerned Indian American Coalition and had started the AIM Patrol, which was started simply to protect Indigenous community in that city at that time, but has grown and continued and has made a difference by being a witness and offering that legal witness to any altercations involving the Native Americans, according to Brianna Wilson. But this AIM Patrol still, here in Lethbridge, Alberta, today, there's two days a week, the Sage Clan supports the unhoused Indigenous in the downtown core and provides that witness that is so important. And that is how the movement originated, to protect. And it was because of the 1956 public the Relocation Act that created the job training centers in cities and created such a mass movement of families from reservations to the cities. And with the increased population within the cities came the increased police brutality and racism that the communities encountered. And it wasn't long after that that the Legal Rights Center was established, while they had and ended up leading towards the takeover of Alcatraz. The University of Alberta recognizes a sphere of commonality that refers to shared experiences and histories that can only unify otherwise disparate groups. Recognizing these spheres of commonality is useful to building solidarity and mobilizing towards shared goals. And that was the reason for all of the efforts and struggles that these men and women went through on behalf of the American Indian movement. The initial leaders in 1968 The initial leaders in 1968, Dennis Banks, Russell Means, and Clyde Bellecourt, did what they needed to do, and they were joined by 200 people in that first meeting in July of 68. But within that short time, they had made a difference already. This movement continues today in many forms. And not only with individual city patrols and groups, we are backed up and we are given witness by that it is a world indigenous problem by the efforts of the World Health Organization and the UN in its Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People. This continues to tell us that the attitudes still remain and our efforts cannot be for nothing, that the people that have gone before us have gone through, that we must continue it. So when they started the nonviolent campaigns that proved so effective, they were building on the results of the peace marches and people like Dr. Luther King. And they were as effective as they could be at the time. It was called ocular rhetoric. This visual media campaign followed the patterns already set and using the symbolism from flags to music. The University of Ottawa also points out the white paper against the red paper exchange, and it says Amos not only unified people from across the United States, but brought Indigenous people from Canada into the movement and gave their support to Indigenous allies. And that was the University of Ottawa through their digital history. But it goes far beyond North America, because in answer to the last question, why did I choose this moment and how does it relate to how I see myself as a social worker? Quite simply, it's because I'm a grandma, and if I don't, who will? The idea of policy influencing, identifying, naming, assessing, confronting, and mitigating such deep systemic and racial issues, shaping future concerns, not just for my grandchildren and all of our grandchildren, but far beyond to their grandchildren. The legacy continues, and it's passed on far more through the songs and the stories and the peers and compatriots of the same era, such as artists that bring to work the humor and the heart of the people. It was spread through powwows, nation to nation, even as a individual effort to unite many across Canada and across the States. We continue because we have to. Thank you.